On December 28, 2013, in Salinas, California, a crop circle was created in a field in the early morning before dawn. It was discovered by, I believe, two gentlemen in a truck driving down the road with their cameras on because they had noticed green flashing lights in the field and decided to record. There was nobody else on this road. Seemed pretty barren. I'll post a link to their video in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. They were interviewed the next day by the media and so on, and a lot of people came to check it out, but the farmer that owned the field had immediately cut the crop down. He decided to cut the crop down, so I guess not to attract more people there, or he was told to. I'm not too sure what the original story was there. The interesting thing about this crop circle is that the media got involved. I mean, it was interesting to the people, attracted quite a bit of attention, but the media was the one that really kind of surprised me with this, because they actually looked at this crop circle and put it out into the public and tried to decipher it actually, and they came up with a couple of key deciphers on this one. One being the actual Braille, but I mean this one is, I mean, it's written in language that everybody can understand. It's geometry, it's, you know, not Braille itself, but I'm talking about this whole crop circle. So I guess we'll first talk about the circles around the outside. And when I first saw this circle, this crop circle, I didn't really understand what these circles on the outside were for. But after doing a little bit of research and kind of looking at it myself, they are actually positions of a clock. They're just the positions of a clock. So basically, if you were to superimpose a clock face on this circle, it would be pointing at certain numbers on that clock face. Those particular numbers in this case are 1, 2, and 9. And then if you compare their sizes relative to each other, stacking them greatest to least, you'll see that they are in a certain order. 1, 9, 2. What's also interesting about this circle is that in the center of it, the Braille that's written literally translates into number sign, which means it's telling you that a number is coming next, and it is 192, because Braille, both letters and numbers can be the same, like the letter A is the number 1. But the way you distinguish between a number and a letter is by putting a number sign in front of it. So in the center of this crop circle, it has a repeating pattern of 192, 192, and then the center line is 2, 192, 1, and then the bottom line is again 192, 192. So the most important number in this crop circle is 192. So obviously this is the message that the creators wanted to show us, is that the numbers 192 are extremely important. So basically that's what the media deciphered. They actually deciphered the Braille in the middle for everybody to understand. And they also pointed out the 192 around this circle around the outside. And that it corresponded to a clock face. And then something interesting happened after this. The company Nvidia came forward and declared that they hired a media company to create this crop circle. In order to promote their newest mobile graphics processor at the time, it was called the Tegra K1. It was a graphics chip that apparently utilized 192 cores, or CUDA cores, to process graphics. And it was designed for the Quad A15 CPUs. Remember, this was back in 2013, so a few years ago now. Things have kind of advanced since then. But if you notice, Nvidia decided to hire a media company. This is what they claim. They've decided to hire a media company to create this crop circle in order to create some promotion about their new Tegra K1 192 core super chip. And this is what everybody accepted as the real deal. This is what everybody accepted as the real story. Nvidia even has images showing off their new Tegra K1 chip and what the die cut looks like. And it's amazingly almost identical to the crop circle and what the crop circle looks like. It's pretty incredible. So after this, I mean, everybody was satisfied with that story, and you can even look online right now and you can look it up as the Nvidia crop circle. And if you go to their website, or if you even just look it up, you can find their website that still shows this to this day right now. It's live. So I mean, this was acceptable, but to me, it just didn't seem right. Something about it didn't seem right. It just didn't answer all the questions I had about this. Like, why the whole number 192? I mean, they do explain it because 192 CUDA cores, but why the number, why the Braille in the middle, and why the clock-like feature around the outside? And also, after doing some research, somebody had pointed out to me that this looked like a CCD TV chip instead. Closely resembles a CCD TV chip. And I was like, well, gosh darn it, you know what? You're right. It does look like a CCD TV chip. And what those are is every digital camera has a sensor inside that allows you to detect light, and then it converts that light signal of voltages into an actual image. And that's how a CCD chip works. So I guess one of the biggest questions I had about this crop circle was, why the Braille? You know, and what exactly does Braille, why is the message written in Braille? And, you know, the only solution I can come up with is that it's for somebody who's blind. Obviously, this message is for somebody who's blind, or you cannot see something, right? So, like, that was kind of a big clue. And I mean, Braille is the language for people who are blind. And so, and this being a CCD TV chip, and Braille being written in it, basically it's kind of like trying to correlate the two, right? And I mean, what would a graphics card have to do with blindness? Nothing. I mean, like, it's kind of the opposite. You want to be able to see your graphics, not read it in Braille. You know what I'm saying? Kind of a bad media approach if that's what they were going for. And so the way I interpret this circle is that this is some kind of sensor that allows you to see something that you cannot. So after doing a little bit of research and digging, I found a company called RF Co Limited. Their website, rfsystemlabs.com. And I believe it's a Chinese company, I'm not too sure, but it seems like the English has been translated from another language into English. It's done well enough to understand. But the point is that it's not an English company, they're from somewhere else. I believe it's China. Anyway, and the point is that if you go to their website and you look up under one of their branches, one of their pages on their website called Naomi, the company Naomi Technologies has developed a way of utilizing 12 CCD sensors combined together to pick up or detect radio frequencies of all different kinds. Okay? And if you look down here, what they have created is a sensor utilizing 192 eyes to catch X-rays. Now, I'm sure you're catching on by now, but 192 eyes to catch X-rays. 192 eyes. Okay, and this is a CCD TV chip in an array on a panel, or in a whole bunch of them in an array on a panel, that allows them to see high definition X-rays. They can see X-rays in high def. So nowadays you get a picture on a film, and that X-ray is really blurry. But utilizing this digital 192 eyes, it gives you a much, much sharper picture, according to this company. But I don't believe that this is what this circle is telling us to use it for, but they're basically giving a message to everyone who sees it or understands it, that they can use this CCD TV technology to see X-rays somewhere. Okay? And that's with minimum dosage even. Claims here, with just a very small dosage, these things are very sensitive to X-rays. Alright? So for some reason, the creators of this circle, whoever they are, we're not referring to a 192 CUDA core graphics card that had nothing to do with Braille and being blind, but everything to do with 192 eyes to catch X-rays, which is something you cannot see. And having the word eyes here, and X-rays, and the whole crop circle has to do with Braille and not being able to see. To me, this is what it really means. This is what they are pointing towards. This company, this technology, for some reason. I know it's a little bit late, 2013, and it's 2020 now, but better late than never, right? See, if you notice, they go into a little more detail here. 270,000 pixels times 192 CCD sensor equals this much megapixels, almost 52 megapixels. So they get like a 48.37 megapixel resolution. Way clearer on the X-rays. Basically, it's a really sensitive CCD chip to detect X-rays. What I'm kind of curious about is what would happen if somebody took this CCD TV chip, put it into a digital camera, and just started snapping pictures around. You know, point it to the sky. Just be kind of curious to see what kind of images you can get just by putting it into a digital camera and snapping pictures around, absorbing the X-rays around you. Who knows what you would see? Curious, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. And I've got a lot more information to tell you guys in other crop circles that I think is really important. Needs to be shared. So look forward to that. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.